Adventures of Superman, the Book of Kal-El, issue 4, Philip Kennedy Johnson writing with Scott Godlewski on the art. So, yeah, they're off to find one of the Olgren thingamajigs.
The aspects of Olgren.
That's the one. And the Lantern Home, which is where a lot of these lantern life forms are living, and by that I mean people like Ellie. In fact, they name drop Ellie as being kind of the origin of this new species, effectively.
Yeah, she's essentially the Eve of this. You know, she helped bring them out. Which again, I love. This is Philip Kennedy Johnson bringing all his stuff together.
Well, because they also say that she effectively let herself die to like make sure her kind could live on, which is very sacrificial, so it's very kind of like biblical as well. And I'm like, it's kind of wild that we've kind of set that up, and it's something that the Green Lantern books are still running with. Like, she just became a Blue Lantern in, you know, the Green Lantern Corps. So it's like, oh, this is something they're really committing to.
Cool. And the fact she looks like an adult there, right? When they bring it up, and she's still like a kid in the pages of Lanterns.
It's interesting because obviously Osil and Otho don't really get mentioned much outside of Johnson's work, and it kind of feels like maybe the reason for that is that I don't know if they're going to be maybe gone at the end of this story, like something's going to, you know, shoot them into the future or something like that, or whatever it may be.
People forget which one is which sometimes, including Johnson, maybe.
Yes.
But I do like. All right, so I know you're not big onto fantasy, and I'm not huge on fantasy, right? This feels very much like a fantasy book set in space. Are you getting that vibe at all?
I would say I'm getting that a little bit, yeah. I mean, I think inherently I like this much less than Warworld Saga because it is leaning more into fantasy tropes than it is sci-fi. I would agree as well, because the thing that was a hook with Warworld Saga was how Clark is changing the culture of Warworld, right? It wasn't like Johnson threw in the mythological aspects of it and the whole Philosians and all this other stuff that came out of Warworld. Here, though, it almost feels like this is kind of a high fantasy, almost like Old Man Logan, like of the book, right, of the comic, where we're seeing these very familiar things from DC just play out this far into the future. And like that's cool, but I'm starting to feel less invested in it, right? I feel like now I'm just going along the beats to see what else Philip Kennedy Johnson is closing out from his Warworld and Green Lantern runs, you know, because that's what it feels like it's also doing. And that's not to say it's not enjoyable, because it very much is, but there's so much going on here. Like sometimes it's a lot to take in, you know? Yeah, there's a whole bit at the start with Krillix just monologuing about being a villain and why he's doing what he's doing and how he's built a fortress of solitude in space, one where Krypton once stood, out of respect for Superman, even though he's kind of become his enemy. But most of the issue is actually Ronin, the descendant of Superman, taking him to this Lantern Home place, and what they encounter on the way, which is this light construct, like little creature who gets really big and is kind of like a guard dog almost. And Ronin's sister Rowan is the one who kind of like helps run this place and is chosen to stay here, and she shows up in this suit of armor, so she has like Green Lantern light powers. Well, it's not green, it's more of a violet, to be honest.
Yeah, it's very reminiscent of what John had in War Journal.
Yes. So she shows up, and it's a lot of conflict. It's a lot of Superman saying, you know, this is why we're here, and she doesn't really believe this is actually Superman. And I don't even think she has a moment by the end of the issue where she's actually convinced it is really Superman. She kind of thinks, oh, just because he's got the symbol on his chest doesn't mean it's actually him. So I can see there being like a big moment in the next issue or two where she's like, she has that moment where she's like, oh, you actually are Superman. Like you're Clark Kent.
The way that Ronan, because this is Rowan, right? Because there's Ronan and Rowan.
Yes.
The way that the brother talks about her, it's like,
you see, Matt,
when she was...
Otho and Ozil has been such a winner for naming conventions that we thought we'd do it again with the Ronan and Rowan.
Goddamn. we'll say the brother.
Yes.
Who's more akin to Kryptonian, right? With the Superman-esque stuff, right? It seems to me like what he was telling Superman and what comes out in the dialogue was until his sister got the Will of Olgrin, it's almost like the Will of Olgrin changed her, and it's almost like she feels like she's a step away from everybody else, right? Like there's this haughtiness to her, and it's not like she thinks she's better than people, but there's a disconnect, right? And that she has more in common with the they call them whatever they call the light people, you know. And so it's almost like this God aspect has altered her, and then that makes me wonder what's going to happen to the super sibling Ultholosu, whoever had it, the boy who had one of the aspects of Olgrin. What's going to happen to him? Because it seems like it definitely alters their personality a bit. Because that's what I got out of their back and forth here.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, obviously there's a lot here of like Superman dealing with this light creature, and especially after he eats Ronan, and he kind of has to like talk it down and be like, I can't let you eat Ronan, so give me him back. There's some interesting visuals. This Lantern home location's also pretty unique looking because it's kind of these sort of like big green, like I don't know, daggers or rods with a circle around it. It's a very interesting visual, if nothing else.
Yeah.
So yeah, and we see there's an entire community of these lantern constructs. And she keeps referring to Superman and Ronan as still flesh, like you're still flesh. Yeah. Like it's like Back to the Future Part 2. You have to use your hands. Yeah. It's like a baby's toy. You still have flesh.
Yeah, well, also, it almost feels like a slur too. The way that she's using it, and I'm just like, oh man. And they're called the light board. That's what she refers to them as.
So the big thing here is that they say, hey, Krillux is coming to take the Olgrin stuff, and she's like, no, he let us stay here to protect it under the condition we'd never let it go. And they're like, yeah, but you know, he was just biding his time till he could get all the pieces. He's coming for it, and she doesn't believe him. But the big cliffhanger at the end is that basically they unleash the Kraken, or to be more accurate, they unleash the Sun Eater at Superman, which is what Krillix said to do at the start of the issue if it seemed like they weren't going to be able to just bring the Olgrin stuff to him. So it's, you know, it's a big cliffhanger. It's a hell of a visual, and the red of the Sun Eater really pops against all the green scared aliens in the foreground. So you get that nice color. Yes. Very Christmassy almost, with the red and the green. Yeah. So
yeah, just the idea that it was called the Oath Moon because Krillix had said, you know, it was this thing that they had fought back, right? And then I'm trying to find the page so I don't get it wrong. It was the Oath Moon, and it was like a symbol that, you know, Krillix wouldn't come back. Well, it turns come to find out that the Oath Moon was the Sun Eater the entire time. So it's been almost laying in wait for his signal, you know, which again shows you what type of person that he is at this point.
Yeah.
He, you know, his thirst for power.
He's been plotting for such a long time, because that's one of the things that the narration early on, because obviously the narration is like the excerpts from the Book of El. It says that Krillix has become very bitter with all of his failures to get all the 7 pieces of Olgrin over the years. Like, it's taken him so long, and he's still not got it, so he's become kind of a bitter old piece of shit. I think that's interesting from a character perspective.
I think so too.
Yeah. No, I mean this is it's very solid in what it's doing. Again, I don't think Godlewski's art is like A tier for me. It's kind of just you know, it's serviceable. It gets the job done. I've said that probably in every issue at this point, but it's still how I feel as I'm looking at this. Even when we're getting these nice big space visuals and these big constructs, part of me does kind of wish it was an artist that stood out to me a little bit more. But yeah, I mean, fundamentally, it's like I'm happy to be getting this like final part of it told, and some of it is interesting. I think the Lantern stuff here is the most interesting part to me. The sort of the LA legacy, if you will, that they're kind of teasing is kind of cool, especially since we're still doing stuff with her in the present books in Green Lantern, which is nice. She's not just disappeared, only to like show up again in the future, kind of thing. So that's cool, but you know, I don't think it's as good as Warworld Saga.
Not even close.
Yeah, or even like the action stuff post Warworld Saga, to be honest, which is because I thought that was interesting having the twins kind of integrate into the Metropolis life and things like that. I think this feels a little bit separate from that for me because it is set in the future, and I don't think it's quite settled into I'm really, really feeling the scale of this yet and how epic it is. It feels like it's maybe not quite living up to that. Whereas Warworld Saga, every single issue feel like, we're doing like a big Superman story. This feels a little bit more, I don't want to say by the numbers, because that maybe feels a bit too harsh, but it just doesn't feel as special as Warworld Saga did.
Yeah, and it kind of goes with the title. Like, this is called Adventures of Superman, the Book of Kella, or the Book of El. So that kind of fits because these feel almost episodic, right? The first three were about Superman getting there and then fighting Brainiac, right? That was using Luthor as a figurehead type. And now we're getting into the Lantern stuff and we're getting back to the aspects of Olgren. So if this goes 12 issues, it feels like every 3 is a new chunk, right? Another new adventure for Superman. But yeah, it's just definitely not what I thought it was going to be with what we had gotten from the future stories before with, because I thought this was definitely going to get more into that whole legacy of Superman that Johnson kind of started with his Future State. It was Future State, right? With the girl going to visit Kansas.
Yeah. Because the thing with this so far is that even last issue's cliffhanger of there was other, like someone else was brought to the future as well, and is it Otho and Ozil? You know, where are they if they are here, kind of thing. It's mentioned here briefly, but it's not something that's really followed up on, and it kind of feels like we're chasing MacGuffins, which feels a little bit more simplistic. You know, compared to Warworld Saga, where it was all about like him slowly starting to inspire the people that were held, you know, as gladiators in this prison. It felt like there was always this kind of like forward momentum that wasn't relying on story tropes, whereas here it feels a bit more by the numbers in the sense that, like we're going out to get this MacGuffin because the villain wants it, and the villain's got some big bad thing for us to fight there. It feels a little bit more simple and generic compared to what he's done previously. Now, obviously, we're 4 out of 12. It could very well develop into more intricate things as time goes on. Yeah.
Well, and I will say he's very good at the mythology making. Like, everything feels like, I don't feel like he's bending over backwards to make Lantern Home work, right? The way that he describes it and sets it up and introduces us there, and then we get in there and we see all the Lightborn people, you know, it's all executed very well. It's just, I feel like there's something a little bit missing, and I don't know exactly what that is.
Yeah, the Lantern stuff's definitely the best part, because it's the part that feels like, I guess it felt like a continuation of one of these ideas that he set up before, but it felt like I think it's because, and it's honestly not really because of what he did in his book. I actually think it's more what Green Lantern Corps been doing with Ellie since she was set up. I think it's made me like her as a character. So seeing that she has this legacy actually was a cool little thing. Now, obviously, he gets the credit for starting that because he obviously did all that in War Journal. But I think that it's the continuation of that and her friendship with Kelly I think's been super interesting. So, you know, I like that that's become a thing. But you know, it's still good. Like, I don't want to sound too down on it, but like, it's just not blowing me away. So
it's still fun to read. Like, I'm not upset that I'm going through it all. I was just like, I don't know, my expectations were set a bit too high because of what he's done before. You know.
All right. Let's get to rating, Matt.
I'm at a 7.5.
Yeah, it's straight 7 for me. It's good, but it's not, you know, great. And maybe that's a little disappointing. You know, I think maybe the hope was that it would be great, and it's not quite felt that as of yet. So, yeah.